recording works. The third speaker is Ahmed AlSum from ODU. Memento Aggregator Framework to browse the past events. Thank you.
Hello everybody. My proposal today is enhanced Memento Aggregator Framework to browse the past web. I am different from the previous speakers. I am interested in the past instead of the future. This is our agenda today. I will start with introduction, sensor-related work. After that, I will explain the enhanced Memento Aggregator Framework. After that, the research overview and the conclusion. Let's start with the intro. All of us uses the web archiving to retrieve the old pages, whatever you are looking for a website. You may go to another web archive and search for this URI and find what you are looking for. And when just the archive publish a date that you are looking for, hey, this is what I'm looking for. But actually, this is not the true in every case. Think now if I'm trying to find the JCDL 2002 website, this is what I'm looking now. If I check the current web, this is what I will find now on the web. Of course, this is not JCDL 2002. So I am looking for the archive. So I'll check for one of the archived copy on 2009 and it still has the same problem. If I go more backward and find an archived copy on 2003, it seems I got one and it belongs to the JCDL 2002. But the real case is that if you are looking for the JCDL in any year, previous conference, the right place to go is not web archiving, just to go to the JCDL website, and because they are archiving all the previous web sites for all the conference. So even we have different archived copy, but we spend some time to find the good one. Even if you can go to the right one from the first time, you still have problem what we call how to browse the web in the past. Now this is a page from the JCDL 2002, and for example, I have such a link. If I click on this link, actually the situation will be that the page is not found because he's looking for a page now on the current web. But the right solution is to, if you have the ability to time travel mode, you can find the web in the past as it belongs to a previous or an old archived copy. Another example of our problems that we are targeting is the Graph Medical Journal. If you go to the website of the Graph Medical Journal, you will find an exclamation is already moved, and you can find it on the 123 archived web archives. But actually, if you follow these web archives that they already publish and say, hey, we have different archives. If you go to the Internet Archive, for example, you will find that they are just archives the payment page. It's not the real web site. If you go to another, the second one is what we call the Puerto Rico archive, but it's not public. It's not open for all. It's public. It's just for specific partners. So the good or the best place to go is the CLOPS archive. So what is our research question? Our main question: how can we browse past web in quantity, with the quality, with performance, with the usability. With the quantity, what are all the available archives, your archives for specific URIs? How can we collect all the available archive from this URI? With the quality, how we can trust these archived copies that the web archive published. Hey, I have these archives. And also, could we rank these archive copies with the quality? So this is the highest quality, this is medium and low. Performance, how can we do all of these things in good reasonable time with the usability, how we can do it in a nice and easy way. Let's go to the related work. First thing in the related work, what we call the Memento project. Imagine that you are looking for CNN, how it's set on in the morning of September 11, 2001. I imagine that I'm going to set the browser on CNN and change my clock to September 11, 2001 and then press go. Then I'm looking to travel through the time. Actually, this is what the Memento project is, an extension of the HTTP to allow the user to browse the past and the current web in the same time, or what we call to let the HTTP to do the H content negotiation in the date time dimension. How we can simply do that? Actually, we add an accept date time and HTTP header, additional HTTP header that will provide the date to the browser. But the question now, who is going to reply? Who is going to reply to me when I set the date on this previous date, or adding accept date time header? The project of Memento supposes that when you are looking for a specific CNN on September 11 and you contact CNN server, the CNN server will follow you or will forward you to what we call the time gate. Time gate is a web server that has the capability to provide you with archived copies for this website. Now the browser will forward the request to this time gate, and the time gate will find what we call Memento. Memento is a word that we use interchangeably between the archived copy. Memento means here archived copies that you are looking for, or with the date that you are looking for. Now the browser will say, okay, thank you, I'm looking for this web page. Now we are with the aggregator. Aggregator time gate is what we call, if this is the browser, this is the original resource, aggregator time gate is a tool that could let me connect with different time gates that may provide me with archived copies for our mementos for this specific URI. So this is what we call the aggregator. Aggregator actually doing that by connecting different time gates. It may be directly, time gate may be directly connecting with archives that are compatible with Memento, or connecting with what we call the proxy. Proxy is tool in the middleware that could connect with this archive and provide me with Memento compatible response. The second part of our related work is what we call archive quality. If we think about the current quality measurement, we will find most of the books mentions that the completeness is this archive already archives all the URI or the related resources, completed resources for this web page. The coherence, if I have a complete website, could I archive it all in the same time, or it's a snapshot as it was in the past? The coverage is the number of archived copy really reflects the number of exchanges of this URI or this website or not. Actually, all this measurement targets the archivist or the web administrator, or web archive administrator, more than the user. The other part of our related work is the GUI. How we can browse the past web, or do we have some tools to browse past web or not? Actually, we have Doctoral. It's a very fascinating tool. It provides different views, but the main problem is that it will not work, or it's not visible on the current web archiving. It needs a huge number of archives, web mementos, or archived copy. We have past web browser. It provides a different, actually this work provides different views, just a little one. It provides all the possible archive the copies and provide you with some tools to go forward and backward. We have diff IE. It provides the user just highlighting the difference between this the current browsing since the last visit of this website. Actually, we have different services that build on the archives. For example, synchronicity, it uses the archives copy to discover the missing web page, or if you found 404, how you can discover another copy in space for this web page. And also we have Warwick. This is what we call the tool to, if you lose your website without backup, how can you depend on the web archives to retrieve a complete copy or a backup for your web site. Okay, now we covered our related work. We mentioned the Memento as main tools, or the tools that we are building on. We mentioned web archiving, and we mentioned some web archiving browser or best web browser. Now let's go to our enhanced Memento Aggregator Framework. Actually, the traditional Memento Aggregator, it takes mainly the URI from the user, and it starts to search for all the possible archives or proxy or time gates that are available, and merge these results and sort by time, date time, and send to the user. This is the current traditional Memento Aggregator, and it's already working on our website, cs.edu.edu. This is the current aggregator. Our enhanced Memento Aggregator would like to add more features on this tool. First, and instead of accessing all the possible time gates, we need to select best time gates. Also, query on forward on better way, and process the result immediately and merge this result and apply some kind of the quality policy to this result. Instead of sending all what I have to the user may be interested to ranking this result or to find the best or other solution. And finally, additional to the time map, we will provide the quality map. Let's start from last box to discuss our main contribution in this proposal. That's what we call web archiving quality. As mentioned a few minutes ago, all the web archiving quality measurements now is considers only the administrator, not the user. Now, if the user think what may be the good memento or the good archived copies that I would like to use, what may be the good? Let's think together. If you try to search for archived copy and you found it, do you think it's good? If you're looking for JCDL 2002 website, do you think this is maybe good archived copy for you? Does it make sense? If you would like to find digital preservation website and you just found this page, actually this is the same copy or from another web archiving for the same page, just to make the contrast between both of them. Okay, now we have different types of web archives or mementos that you may retrieve from the web archives, but as you can see, it has different types of quality. Now we try to make something that measure or think about what is the main differences between these stuff. For the first one, now as a memento, but it doesn't exist. Actually, the web archiving, even it published one, but it couldn't retrieve it from its database. Here it's existed but not valid. This is not what I'm looking for. The third one, it's valid and it's related to digital preservation, but actually the rest of the embedded resources are not available to the user. This is the last one. It's existed, it's valid, it's related to digital preservation website, and all the style sheets, embedded resources are completed. That's what we call good on what we think. So now we try to provide three types of quality measurement existing. It means that it returns the URI that published by the web archiving returns to 200. valid. This is the content is related to what I'm looking for. Complete is existed, and text is not spam and not anything. And the embedded resource, all the embedded resources are existing. That's what we think the three levels. Let's take a small quiz with this stuff. If we would like to sort these mementos by date and quality, if we would like to sort by date, and this is the traditional memento aggregator is doing right now, it's very easy. All these consider these are 4 mementos, and it's already published date time with it, and we try to find the quality level for this stuff. If we'd like to sort by date, it will be easy. Just sort from the older to the newer, 2005, 6, 8, 9. And if we'd like to provide what we call quality map is an idea to sort the retrieved URI or the discovered mementos by the quality level that we try to detect on these URI. So now it's the same list, but it's ordered in different way by the quality. Here, complete, valid, existent, and 2005, 8, 6, 9. So it's another way to order or sort what your retrieved list of URI. Now, this is the theory, how we can push it in our Memento framework. We here propose a new, what we call the aggregator response optimization. This material is responsible for assuring the quality of this archive copy and try to sorting it on different way as the quality or the favorite or something like that. Research methodology to provide this way, actually we are going to plan to start with abstract study to collect as possible of mementos and to try to apply some techniques to detect the quality level of this stuff, and then feed this implementing the aggregator response optimizer to detect this on runtime. The evaluation for that, after creating this baseline and try to detect and mark the quality measurements, we are going to feed it to the enhanced Memento aggregator and check the accuracy of the detection and the performance. As a conclusion for this part, what we think about is that what the web archives are publishing as, this is archived copies that I have. Should I trust it? Should I think, hey, this is what number, this is URI that already existed. Should I consider this as a real web archived copy or real memento that I can depend on my stuff? The second part of our contribution is related to performance. Actually, for the traditional Memento aggregator, as soon as I get a request, I just forward to all the proxies and archives as possible. For the enhanced, I just try to make some magic or some expectation to what will be the best, and selected only the best proxies and archives in this situation. What are the rules that I can depend on? Until now, we found 3 rules. URL domain, for example, library and archives of Canada is just limited to .gca.ca. So if I have .uk, it's not required to browse this archive. For the dates, for example, NARA Web Archive doesn't have anything before 2006, so it's not required to. If you are looking for a date after that, heuristic rules, we are investigating and find something related to the content and of the content of the website. If you are looking for sports archive, it may not be possible for that or something like that. Okay, now the idea where we should add these rules. First thing is added for the aggregator itself. The second one is to add with a proxy, if you're using a proxy, or adding with the archive. Here is what we call 3 options: aggregator, proxy, archive. And here what we would like to make self-describing archives. The idea of self-describing archives to let the archive itself publish its rules, or what I have, or what is the considerations that you would like to know about my archive, for example, the dates, the URL domain, and this stuff. Here is just two idea. I prefer to put it here instead of the related work. For example, the robust text, it's the same idea. The website is publishing information about him to the interested crawler or spider. Linked data. .org also provides this information. Each website is describing himself to the rest of the linked data group. The evaluation, we are going to take sample sets of URI and query on both traditional and enhanced, and check the coverage and the performance, and repeat it with each kind of URI. The other components and the proxy dispatcher, this is what, instead of just sending all the requests and waiting for all of them and then process, now I can, whatever the URI that retrieved or the result retrieved from any archive or proxy, I can start to process for the quality measurement and this stuff. Here's for the evaluation. Mainly I depend on the processing time and the memory consumption. Finally, the Memento client. How can I use all this stuff? Currently, these are the current Memento client. All of them depend on just, you have calendar to set what is the days that you would like to go and set the URI and the address bar. Now we are looking for more new feature. For example, provide easy interface to browse this timeline, select different time gates instead of just the default or the proposed from the website. Also, how can I set my quality policy or my preferred quality measurement for that? Also, could I select specific time gates or preferences in this stuff? Also, the last one is the two-way communications. We suggest that what if you are the user and you are just installing, for example, our Memento toolbar, and you find a specific archive that you think it will have some kind of interesting URI or interesting archive to copy, you can just send feedback or send it to the proxy or administrator, and we can add this stuff in the proxy list or the archive list that we are looking for. For the response format, how we can publish the result of the quality map to the user, we have two options. Just think about link header, or just add a new field with each URI in the time map. For the research overview, we will start with the request optimizer, now that we are looking for, and self-describing archives. After that, the proxy dispatcher, how to make this simultaneous, and then we will spend some time with the web archiving quality and response optimizer, and finally the Memento client, and finally to graduate after that. Okay, the conclusion, to conclude the contribution of the work, we have different dimensions. We are looking for web archiving quality. We are looking for aggregator optimization technique. Instead of searching for all the archives that is possible, we'd like to select this stuff based on information that is published by the archive or information that I detect from the archive. And finally, put all this stuff in a complete framework. Instead of just publish abstract ideas, we would like to include it in existing framework and the existing tools that you can use with this stuff, and all this stuff is supported with a nice client that you can include in your list. Okay?
Thank you.
Questions?
We've got about 5 minutes here. Any questions?
Yes. Well, I guess my first question is, it's the scope of it again, and I'm kind of concerned about the user interface piece, which I see as a very substantial piece being kind of part on the end. So you know, my advice would be to focus on the quality issue, which I think is a very interesting question. And you didn't go into much detail about, we went through the exercise of, you know, is this quality, is this quality, is this quality? So you didn't go into too much detail about how you've defined quality. and whether you've actually talked to users, or you have any evidence from user studies of systems about what people, users, think is quality, represents quality, because maybe it's something that current systems don't have, that you just, you haven't.
First, for the quality equations, actually this is what we are looking for now. What may be the people interested in? We think we open a new questions from the user perspective. What you think this archived copy is good for you? That's why we turned the question to what is bad, and we started to think about, to grab the web archives about what we think this is bad archives, and then we try to set it in some kind of order, and we are looking for now for more and more. What we can, if this has different levels, if this is easy to detect, because we are looking to detect this in the run time.
So are you conducting studies
No.
in this? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's just
Are you
it's
going to?
our work in this stuff. We didn't send it to users and this stuff to read about it.
I would suggest that in terms of quality that you might have a conversation with Paul Bogan, who is a student of mine, and Frank Shipmans, who will be arriving in a couple hours. Maybe we discovered on Saturday that his ticket hadn't been issued, so we had a very exciting Saturday. Because the quality questions that you're asking here are very similar to the kinds of questions we ask in the distributed collection manager, in terms of whether users view change to web pages as being significant or not significant. That we have about a 10-year set of studies and work on it. Maybe you can develop, maybe you can take some, maybe you can leverage off of those things. So anyway, you might talk to Paul.
When you were talking through the sort of infrastructure, there was a word floating through my mind from deep in research labs of Southampton University, going microcosm, 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 which is an old link-based tool that tries to create and resolve links at the time that a page is sent down the wire, if you will, to the client from the server. And I know there were a couple of things that they looked at were essentially links between context aware, and one of your contexts is quality, going back to the word we've just had. One of your contexts is time, obviously. But I was just sort of thinking as a pointer, it might be worthwhile going back to the work on microcosm in its later stages, particularly about 2000, 2002. And some of that might actually give you useful infrastructure around which you could introduce some of the things you're putting into Memento in a way that's architecturally neat and intellectually quite meaty. I think actually you'd be adding to that work quite clearly. So I think that might be something that helps you, but you might actually then be able to contribute back to it in a really elegant way.
The idea of environment or context, as you said, we start with a time. This is the normal thing and it's the easiest one. Actually, we start to think about what may be the user interested in searching or ordering or different, something like that. For example, the quality. For example, partial, I may need just a 20 item. This may be, for example, you need 3, for example, you don't need the full 8,000 URIs that's available for the CNN.conf, you just need 3 as evidence or something like that. Also, maybe preferences, you may be interested in Internet Archive in the beginning of the list. This is what you are looking for. You are not interested in other archive. So I think we need to think about more context, more sorting techniques or preferences for the users that he may like. And this is what an idea. Should we start with the client and think what may the user would like in web browser client, what he may imagine it, and start to build in the backward, or start with the server itself and start to move this stuff to the client, to the user. So this is